Welcome to Going Insane with Temperance Germain. That's me. Hope y'all are doing well. I wanted to try and get one more video down before the sun went down and I didn't have light. I wanted to talk a little bit about self-love boundaries and how important they are. So, in the previous two videos, talked about environment, triggers, mirrors, egos. And once we start getting a handle on that, we come to realize that we need steps to take and to enforce in our lives, which are simply self-love boundaries. These are what teach people how to love us in return, what respect means to us, what we'll put up with, what we won't. And you know, the firmness with which we protect our boundaries really does teach people what it means to love us, to our love language, our self-esteem, our self-respect, our values, what the virtues are to us that matter, if they matter. I mean, they don't have to matter. You don't have to have self-love boundaries. You don't. Every soul is free to walk on their own path, just not their own toxic path past my self-love boundaries. There's the rub. You can love somebody and still enforce your self-love boundaries. You can. You should. That is how you love them. It could be considered a form of tough love. But, you know, calling it tough love to cut somebody out who doesn't love you, who doesn't care about you or your feelings or your how what they do. Oh, let's see. there. I am going backwards. Okay, I think it's really cool. Backdrop. Okay. So, sorry. Okay, so um, self-love boundaries, yes. So, um, you know, but if we're going to put it into that aspect, if children don't respect you, if they don't have boundaries, they won't listen to you. They'll walk all over you. They'll push you. They'll, burn two candles, one candle to the middle, burn both ends, without rules, regulations, and clear-cut boundaries with consequences. They just rule the world, as we can see. We got lots of children running the world right now, and they're just triggered left and right and sideways and upside down, and it's really retarded thinking. It just means backward thinking. It's not an insult to anybody. Just an old school vocabulary word. At any rate, so if you can show people where your boundaries are, I mean, you can't just all of a sudden just say, you say, okay, wait, you're about to cross a boundary with me, and if you're going to insist on going there, then I'm going to leave, or you can leave. I won't put up with that from anybody. You don't lose your temper, because that would be counterproductive, right? You let them know, and then you cut out the people who don't respect the boundary. If they don't want to work on it with you, that's okay. They can go on their way. You can love them from within your perimeter. Actually, love them better. Because by not calling people out on their disrespect for you, encourages them to not respect themselves, other people, and you don't need it. No one needs toxic. Nobody needs toxic in their life. If we can't walk as examples, and and believe me, trust me, I assure you, self-love boundaries, it's the new black. It's the new cool. People don't get to just take our rights away and use our space as their bumper, their padded room where they get to bump off the walls because they're flipping out because they don't know how to work on their own triggers from their own mirror, from their environment, affecting their environment. And and they have to do that on their own because each soul is sovereign. Each soul is sovereign. We don't get to tell them how to live. We don't get to put it, there's laws. There's laws in the land that have to be obeyed, okay? Of course. But there's also laws, personal laws, that have to be obeyed. If you want to come into my country, I'm going to respect your laws coming into your country perimeter, and so on and so on and so on. Boundaries to countries, they should be respected. It's just respect. It's just decency and um, the makes me so mad that boundaries are um, they've been prostituted, they've been pimped out, they've been obliterated and chokeholded onto each person. I'm not afraid to say what I want to say. You don't like what I'm saying, you don't agree with what I'm saying, don't listen, turn me off. It's okay. I'm not offended. You don't have to agree with me. It's really okay. I promise. But you know regurgitating yours and demanding that I follow yours or that you get to act any way you want on mine, that's not going to happen. We all need to put a stop to this. And it starts with the individuals and then respecting the other individuals because we want to be respected as individuals. It's that simple. So there's a lot of self-love, self-help out there. I'll go into it some more later. I'm sure it's one of my favorite topics. It's saved my life. It saved my mental, uh, it saved my heart and my soul. It did, because I figured out I was worth it, that I was worthy, and that I was special and important enough to have a perimeter worth putting a boundary. That it would I deserve to have self-love boundaries. I had to do the inner work first. I had to dig out all those weeds, all the programming from all the sources. And, generationally, we've had a rough time in this country. And I'll I take my accountability, my culpability for it, and that's why I'm here. Because I want to do my best to unwind that ball of yarn to a better place in space and time, space in the mind, and heart. Space is important. It's all about the heart. Someone told me that once. Tracy, it's all about the heart. Yeah, Tracy's my real name. My name is Tracy Germain with a J. And Tracy J. Okay, I'll tell you guys. I used to be Tracy as a child. Wasn't real happy with that. So when I got into my post high school, I became TJ. She was the mad one. She was the angry one. She was she's violent. I was mad. I didn't get along with two kinds of people: men, women. I was mad. I was mad. I was hurt. I was an injured person, and I I decided over the last 4 years or so, more or less, that TJ could kick rocks too, and Tracy J was the merging of both. The ego and the self, and if Tracy J did pretty good. I'm pretty proud of Tracy J. But I want to encompass Temperance Germain, and Saint Germain and the Violet Flame is something worth looking up with a G, and very. I'll talk more about him and his superpowers that we can use. Burns up karma. It's really a great thing, really a great power, and all we have to do is envision and call upon him, and we can burn up a lot of negative contracts and behavior patterns and karma and stuff. Yeah. And temperance, yeah, temperance is from the tarot deck, means balance and more. But that's what I want to embody in this next section of my life, and I'm really excited. Okay, so put up your self-love boundaries. Show people what it means to love you, because if you don't define it, they don't know. If you can't show them where the boundary is, they don't know they're crossing it. Okay, love yourself. Your garden is beautiful.